Newell. I'm the managing director at Valve. Our first game was Half-Life, and I'd like to say hello to all the Gamestar readers.
I mean, looking back now, how would you explain the success of Half-Life?
When we were working on Half-Life, we thought, everyone at Valve is, I'm doing this also for the video, everyone at Valve is a big fan of the first-person action genre. And we felt when we remembered back to our earliest experiences playing Doom, how much atmosphere there was in those games, how much you had a sense of being transported into a world that you hadn't been before. And the directions that everybody went after that seemed to be to trivialize the genre, to just make it a shooting gallery rather than recognizing this opportunity to be in this interesting, exciting, scary world. I mean, playing Doom, I remember, playing it until 3 o'clock in the morning and suddenly realizing that I just didn't want to play anymore. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I was terrified to find out what was around the next corner. And with later games, it seems like, it was just an exercise of running around and being the most powerful thing in the world and just shooting things. And so we actually felt that in a sense we were going back to the roots of what made the genre so exciting to everyone in the beginning.
What are your personal, favorite features about TF2, things which were not in Half-Life or TF Classic?
When people reach the point where they'd say, if I had some time to spend with my friends, I'd like to play TF2, I think we're on the right track to building the kind of game that's going to have mass market appeal and really serve the interests of gamers very well. Voice, I think, is going to be really interesting. It's one of the big challenges. A lot of people have done a very bad job with voice, where it's either not helped the game or it's made the game worse. And we think you can't just sprinkle voice onto a game and expect that the game's going to somehow magically get better, because what ends up happening is with the really sort of simple party line channel is everybody just starts yelling at everybody else and people curse and things like that. So for example, one way we'll use voice is there's a coach class in the game, and a coach, the only person who can see the coach is the person who's being coached, right? So I can see them, they look like this floating silver ball. And they can talk to me, but nobody else can hear. So if I don't like what they're doing, I just get rid of them, and they're not my coach anymore, and they can't bother me. But in terms of the game, the only person the coach can talk to is the person that they're trying to help. And so what will end up happening, we think that'll create a really strong bond between those two people, and it's a lot of fun. And the way we came up with that idea that there was a coach and that the voice traffic from the coach only went to the person who's being coached was we watched people really play. And a lot of times when you see somebody new coming into the game, you'll see one of the people who's better at the game stop playing and go over, stand behind them and start talking them through how to play. And the thing that we were struck by is that the person, the better player, really enjoyed doing this. I mean, they wouldn't have stopped playing if they didn't enjoy helping this other person. And so we said, if that's what people really want to do, the game design should allow for that.
Would you say that the gameplay is developing from first-person action into a mixed breed of action and real-time tactics and role-playing?
In one sense, you could say we were moving away from the hardcore action experience, but what we thought we were really doing was making a better action experience. When we look at these online multiplayer games, we try to think of what is it that is going to make it better. So one of the things, for example, we have is the commander class. And the commander class is somebody who looks down on the world, and essentially it looks like Command and Conquer, or looks like Warcraft or Starcraft, and you select units and you give them directions and you set objectives, and you basically play it the same way you do a real-time strategy game. We don't think that we're trying to move away from the hardcore multiplayer action experience so much as we're trying to think of how to make that hardcore experience better, more fun, and more appealing to a wider group of people.
But of course, the big question remains is when you might do your next single-player game.
We have made no formal proposals to anyone about anything beyond Team Fortress 2. So, we're always looking at interesting technologies, and clearly, we have a love for the Half-Life style single-player experience. So, we're obviously thinking about what's next in that area, but we haven't really announced anything at all.